So we're basically going to start off, haven't been on for a while, so welcome back. We're going to start doing a camp sign that someone's asked me to do. We're going to do a live edge wood piece. This is cedar and it smells great. I've cut the end grain just to make it fairly smooth. A lot of times with live edge, we want to leave the end grain the way it is, but one side was already cut flat by the milling process, so I decided just to even it up on either side. Now, the one problem that you run into with live edge wood is that, of course, it's not square, and it's not supposed to be. So that's a good thing. Keep in mind, we pay a lot of money at places like Lowe's and Home Depot for live edge product. You can go to your local you'll usually find a local milling business that will actually have their own wood mill, and if you approach them directly, they'll very often give you the product at far reduced prices. The nice thing about this is once you polish this all up, this looks nice and shiny. There's some blemishes and things like that, and there is some damage from weathering and the milling process and that sort of thing. But that's kind of the charm of live edge wood, is that it's never the same. Nothing's ever the same. I've removed the bark. You can see there's even things like termite holes, things like that. There's no termites in this. It's been dried, kiln dried. But essentially, that's the charm of it. And what you should look for beforehand is look for knots in the wood where you're going to carve, because if you have, I have another piece down here. I'll show you that I chose not to use. Nice piece, but you can see here and here and here all the knots that are here. The problem with the knots, they're beautiful. Problem with the knots is when you're using a CNC machine like this, and I'm going to be carving down. I'm going to be carving some dogs and some. Then we're gonna put some text in. The text isn't usually a big problem unless it's small, but 3D carvings can be, because these are going to tend to chip away very easily the center of these knots. And the problem with that is that if you're trying to do something detailed like a dog, like I'm going to do here, or some text, then what will end up happening is that could blow up. And then you start all over again with, rather selecting your wood properly at the start is really important. And I'll just show you another piece here. Often when you get live edge stuff, you're going to get the bark, and the bark is going to tend to want to come off, and that's fine. I actually like it off. I prefer it off, and I've been taking it off of this stuff. Some people like the bark on, so if you're going to put the bark on, you need to stabilize this somehow on the wood. So if I wanted to keep this on, for example, I would actually, if this were edged here, I'd actually put some wood glue underneath there and clamp it, and then I would shellac the whole thing before I'm actually going to carve. So just a few things in terms of wood preparation. You're going to want to get rid of all the stringies from the bark, that sort of thing, beforehand. You don't really have to polish it up beforehand. You can always polish it up afterward, but if you want to polish it up beforehand, you can. Now, in terms of the top face here, this has been milled on both sides, so this is ready to go. But it's very rough on the surface. Now, this is going to be a camp sign, so it's not a huge deal, but what I could do is put it through a planer, or I could sand it first. I'm not going to, because I'm going to carve things out, so I'll just sand what's left over once I've carved things out, and that'll work well. And it's also important to plan what you're going to do. Now, I'm going to have two dogs facing each other here. There's going to be text going over the top and then a little text on the bottom here. It's going to have the name of the person here, established 2017, and then two 3D dogs that are carved down. So I'm going to do a pocket, and as we do the pocket, it's going to leave the wood for the dog sitting up. So I want to plan that out, because if I want to stain it, for example, I don't want to necessarily stain everything the same color. And there's a couple of techniques to doing that. So the first thing is plan out what you want to do. If you want to do the text first, that's fine. What I would then do is I would sand this down if I wanted to sand it down. I would put a mask over top, and I've got some adhesive mask here. Carve through the mask. It's like a tape that goes on self-adhesive. Carve through the mask and then paint the text, peel the mask off. Painted and carved and painted. What I'm going to do. I'm going to carve the 3D first, then I'm going to sand, and then I'm going to put mask on and carve and paint there. What that's going to allow me to do is make sure that the 3D carving is done first, which is the longest carve, and then I'm going to be able to make sure that the mask is in place. I'm not going to get splatters anywhere. And if I want to stain top coat afterwards or leave it just clear, all I have to do is basically put the mask down, stain my letters, wait for that to dry, peel the mask off, and then just stain a top coat or any Warbond stain I want. Because the text is probably going to be dark against this kind of wood. Probably black is what I'll do. By the way, if you're going to do text, I tend to use a stain that soaks in, or something like, actually what I really like is Indian ink, because it really doesn't fade. Indian ink is as black as possible, and it will stay black in sun all the time. So, and it soaks into the wood quite a ways. The one thing you do have to do, though, is before you do the text, put a sanding sealer on before you put the mask down, if you're going to use something like ink or some sort of a stain that soaks in, because it'll bleed through the fibers. If you put sanding sealer down first, it won't bleed through the fibers. It'll be nice and clear and crisp. So basically what we're going to do here is I'm going to fix this to the table. We're going to get the 3D carve going. And once the 3D carve is done, then we'll mask it off and do the tape. Mask it off and do the painting. Final finish after that. Okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about wood preparation there as we went.